Get the shirt straight. All right, perfect. And we're going to take a look. All right, so tonight is, what is it? 11 p.m. on the East Coast. So it's roughly, what is that, 8 p.m. in on the West Coast, and about 5 p.m. in Hawaii. So I thought I would get live, maybe go through the questions of the top 20 most asked questions on Google about life insurance to see if anyone has any questions. Number 20 is the term life versus whole life. That's pretty straightforward. Term life is a much larger policy amount. You're talking about $250,000, $500,000 worth of coverage, $1 million, $2 million worth of coverage that lasts for a specific amount of time, like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. It goes up to 40. And this is designed to last a certain period of time while you're paying off your mortgage, you're raising your kids, while you're building up your retirement account. So this is a large amount of coverage that's designed to last a certain period of time while you need it the most, especially if you have young kids. The price is exceptionally low. The coverage does expire, but it's designed to be there when you need it the most. A whole life policy, the policy amounts are much, much smaller, and the price is much, much higher, but it's designed to last your entire life. And these policies are best used for things like the cost of a funeral or the cost of cremation, if you're leaving a little bit of money behind. Typically, term life insurance, you can get 10 times the amount of coverage for 1/5 of the price. So that kind of policy is great for parents who have young kids who are still in the house, or people who have mortgages, or if someone depends on your income for survival. That's what term policies are designed to cover and protect. Life insurance cost calculator. The best thing to do with that is to go directly to a carrier's website to go directly to a carrier's website to get an idea of how much it'll cost. Typically, for a term life policy, it is not super expensive. I will pull up a quote for you here just so you get a basic idea, and I'll also include a link to my personal Banner Term website. So this page, you can go and get a quote from Banner Term. I think they are the best term life insurance company in the United States. They've been around for about 200 years. They've got among the lowest prices in the country, and they are one of the highest rated companies in the country. So let's pull up, for example, we'll pull up a 35-year-old non-smoking male in excellent health, and we will see what $500,000 worth of coverage is going to be roughly. And we're going to do this since he's 35, we're going to go for 30 years. Now, if you only need it for 20 years, let's say your kids are almost adults or getting close, they're like a few years away from moving out, and your mortgage is almost paid off, a 20-year policy would be fine. I like to recommend a 30-year policy, even though they're slightly more expensive, just so it lasts until retirement age. And once you don't need it, you can always cancel it. But a $500,000 term policy for a 35-year-old healthy male is around $34 a month. For the cost of a whole life policy for, let's say, a 50-year-old, we can pull that up as well. Now, this one is a little more different, or a little different. It's harder for senior citizens to get the cost of a whole life policy without going to an actual carrier website. Now, I wouldn't recommend going to one of those free online quote sites, just because what they do is they gather your information and then sell it to typically multiple people. So I would go directly to a carrier website like Mutual of Omaha, John Hancock, Foresters, SBLI, American Amicable, Corebridge, AIG, different websites like that for whole life insurance coverage. So I'm going to pull up a smaller quote, a $15,000 quote for a 65-year-old male. As you see, it starts at around $67 a month, and I would go all the way down to Mutual of Omaha, where it would be about $83 a month. Now, obviously, it's going to be less expensive for females because they have a tendency to live longer, but this is just to give you a rough idea of how much it costs. Just be careful if you are looking for whole life insurance, make sure that you are, in fact, getting whole life insurance if you do apply for something. There are policies out there that look like whole life. They are a lot cheaper. They're not whole life, and the prices keep increasing. So, this is just a rough idea of what a term policy will be. Obviously, the older you get, the more expensive it's going to get. So just keep that in mind. But at these prices, it's not going to get super expensive. Not until you get into the age of maybe like late 50s or 60s. That's when it's going to go up a little bit more in as far as price. So for younger people who have kids, this is a fantastic product. I highly recommend that you think about getting a term life policy if you do have younger kids. All right, so we'll go to the next question here. No medical exam life insurance. Most life insurance companies do not require a medical exam these days. Now, the only time where a medical exam might be requested is if you go for a super large amount of coverage, typically $4 million or higher. Some companies require you to do it at 3 million. But if you're going for a large amount of coverage, they might want you to get to a Quest Diagnostic Center to get some blood work, to do the blood pressure, to do your height and weight, just to make sure everything checks out. Typically, if you are older and you are looking for a large amount of coverage, like if you're in your 60s and you're looking for a large term policy, they might want you to go into to take a look at that as well. Do you need life insurance when you're buying a house? You do not need life insurance when you're buying a house. You need homeowners insurance just so the bank is protected. I think, it's my personal opinion that if you do get a house and you're married, your spouse, you should have a term policy in place to protect that investment, especially if you're married. I think you should probably have it if you're not married and you can leave that money to your family so they can get the house to build some generational wealth, but it's not required. And I would recommend it if you're married or single. I would absolutely recommend it if you do have young kids. That is the most important time to get life insurance if you have young kids under the age of 18. Okay, what age does life insurance expire? Now, a term policy is going to last a certain number of years, so 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Some companies, they will go up to 40 years. And so it'll expire once the term is over. For a whole life policy, it does not expire. Some of them have maturity dates, like if you reach the age of 90 or 100, sometimes they'll say that you've paid all the money into it that you need to. Some do not. So look out for that. Best life insurance companies, top life insurance companies. So this one, I would say number one as far as term life insurance is going to be Banner Term. If they weren't the number one company, that would not be the company that I personally recommend or use myself. There are some other top contenders in that category for term. There's Protective, Pacific, Prudential. These are top companies too. The prices are relatively similar to each other. You're talking about like 1 or 2 cents, maybe 50 cents or $1 difference. But I think Banner Term, like as far as their customer satisfaction, as far as their durability, they are, in my opinion, the best. As far as whole life insurance is concerned, even though it's not the cheapest, my recommendation is Mutual of Omaha, and they are perfect for people who don't have any major health conditions. So if you've got something like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and controlled diabetes, they consider that in excellent health conditions just because so many people they have those conditions. So all of these things have to be under control, right? Your blood pressure, your cholesterol, even if you're taking medications, your diabetes, there cannot be any diabetic neuropathy, any amputations, or any side effects from the diabetes. Uh, Beyond that, as far as whole life insurance companies are concerned, if you have something like congestive heart failure, diabetic neuropathy, amputations, that just brings up a whole list of different companies that are possible. Uh, each company has different systems as far as weighting what conditions you're being treated for. So it's hard to give a recommendation without knowing what you have or what you're being treated for. Whole life insurance, I think I covered that. My recommendation for whole life insurance that I think that whole life insurance is best suited for covering burials or cremations. I don't think it's a great investment vehicle. I think it's good to have a small policy to cover your cremation or burial. And when I say a small policy, I'm talking about maybe $5,000 for cremation. You'll have a little bit left over, and maybe $15,000 for a burial. Typically, you could probably get away with a $10,000 policy for burial. Most affordable burials are in the $7,000 ranges. That means a modest casket. They do all the services, the embalming, the viewing, and they do the hair and makeup. So typically, $10,000 would cover a burial in most areas, not including the grave site and the headstone. So let's see, when should you get life insurance? I think you should get life insurance when you need life insurance. I think the most important, my recommendation is when you get married, when you get a mortgage, when you have kids. I think that is the biggest one. The biggest one is when you have kids. I can excuse all of the other ones. I can understand the justification of not getting in every other situation, but if you have kids, that is the time you need to get this. Let's see, life insurance, mortgage. Do you need life insurance for a mortgage? You do not. No, the bank does not care if you lose the house in the event of a death. I would recommend getting mortgage protection, but it is not required. How do you find out if someone has life insurance? One thing is to do is you can check their banking statements. Like if they passed away and you're just not sure if they have life insurance, check their banking statements to see what was drafted, if there's a monthly reoccurring draft, check their credit cards. If you can't find it that way, you'd have to have a death certificate. You'd have to go to the NAIC website, submit the death certificate, submit their social security number, and they can pull that information up to see if they do in fact have a life insurance policy in effect. All right, and let's see here, life insurance quotes. I would go directly to the website to get a quote. Oh, hey guys, how are you? Hope you guys had a fun day at the water park. Let's see what life insurance covers. It covers anything, right? It's just whenever you pass away, it's a check that's sent to your family. That's pretty much it. They can use it for whatever they want to. If they want to cover the cost of the burial, cremation, mortgage, whatever they need to cover. How much life insurance do I need for a burial? I would say $10,000 to $15,000 should be sufficient. For if you're younger and you've got a family, I would say that you'd want maybe 10 to 12 times your annual income, or enough to cover the mortgage and all of the debt. I think those are really two great starting points. How much is life insurance? I think I went through that as far as the quotes for the whole life and the term. And let's see, how does life insurance work? It's a simple contract between you and the life insurance company. Your end of the contract is to make the monthly payments. Their end of the contract is to pay your family when you die. So that's essentially it. And your family can use the money for whatever they want to. And why does life insurance also cover that? Yeah, guys, you had a fun time in El Paso. Great. Let's see. Hopefully you guys didn't get too hot. I know it was 100 degrees out there. Let me see. I'm taking a look here and see what we got as far as Facebook questions. See if there are any good Facebook questions out here right now. There might be. There might be. Let's see. What do we have here? Okay, so this just shows how much assets each bank has as far as life insurance assets. Okay, that makes sense. Bank of America is pretty high. Wells Fargo is high. Everyone's convinced life insurance is a scam and GoFundMe until they realize it's not. Yeah, it's not. Life insurance is definitely not a scam. You get life insurance with long-term or living benefits. Living benefits, I mean, it's a selling point for sure, but I would only recommend having the accelerated death benefit. So if you're diagnosed with a critical illness with 12 months or less to live, you can access $500,000 of your policy amount, up to 75%, and then have the remainder be transferred to your family in the event of your death. So what do you guys have planned for tomorrow? Anything good? All right, so this person has 2 life insurance policies for the exact same reasons. Yeah, it's not uncommon to have multiple life insurance policies. Typically, you get a policy whenever you get married. You get a policy once you get a mortgage, and you get another policy once you have kids. You can always combine these policies into one, or have some policies expire at certain points in your life when they're no longer needed. So let's take a look here. Do I have life insurance, Kemper or State Farm insurance? I'm not familiar with Kemper. State Farm is not bad. All right. Let's see. Life insurance is too expensive. It's really not. Not term life insurance is insanely cheap for what it covers. Let's see. Do a quick reality check. If something happened to you tomorrow, would your family be financially okay? Most people without life insurance would be an absolute no. With life insurance, there will probably be okay. So when do you guys get back to Albuquerque? All right, here's an example of a $25,000 whole life policy on a newborn. I would recommend adding on the newborn to your existing policy. That $21 a month can be invested, and by the time they're 18, they would have more money than the $25,000 in coverage. All right, so these people sell life insurance. Okay. What is it, Jasmine? Life insurance is only for people with kids. It's one of the biggest financial myths. Yeah, it's not just for people with kids, but I think kids are a great reason to get life insurance. If one of the parents goes away, then there is a big financial hole there. So it's definitely recommended. Well, thank you guys for the streamers. What do you guys have planned for tomorrow? Anything good? Most people don't think life insurance is using. What's some other good life insurance companies? There's lots of them. Banner Term is good. Prudential, Pacific, Mutual Omaha, John Hancock, Foresters, Mutual Omaha. Let's see. So many. There are a lot of good life insurance companies. Really depends on your situation and what you're looking for. Okay. What is this? Life insurance question 401k. Oh, hey, girl. Thank you. Thank you, Kat. Let's see. Life insurance declined. All right. So Connie is looking for life insurance information, or she's fishing for engagement. I'm not sure which one. All right. What else do we have here? You are not the beneficiary. Okay, that's kind of funny. Yeah, your wife or husband should probably be the beneficiary of your policy. I mean, that's pretty standard. Whoever's going to be responsible for taking care of the finances after you're gone, that should be your beneficiary. All right, looks like this gentleman is doing something. All right, so I'm not sure what he's doing. How much life insurance do you need if you make $100,000 a year? Probably $1 million to $1.2 million in coverage, or at least enough to cover the cost of the mortgage and all the debt. That's a pretty simple formula. Who do y'all use for family life insurance? That would be Banner for me. Your report, 18,054,300 families protected. That's pretty good. It's a lot. What else do we have here? Roughly 1 in 3 GoFundMe campaigns are related to medical costs or funerals. I'd say most of them are funeral related, especially people who don't have life insurance. That seems to be a common theme. Let's see. Life insurance is only for older adults. No, it's for people who need it. Like if you have kids, you need it. There's no way around that. Let's see. All right, taking a look here. Is there anything else in here? Someone's setting up an appointment. All right, it's term versus permanent. I think I already covered that. All right. Little Venn diagram, but not with a circle, with hearts. Okay. So protect your family intersects love at life insurance. It's new. It's different for sure. The $350,000 whole life insurance policy would be insanely expensive. You could probably save $600 a month by getting a term policy and investing the difference in that. At least. Let's see. What else do we have? Anything good? What do you think, Nala? Huh? What is this one? All right, this is not really life insurance there. Never seen anybody ask this, but who do y'all use or recommend for life insurance? Okay, that's asked quite a few times actually. Yeah, I'm sorry guys, this cat is absolutely insane, as most cats are, by the way. All right, that seems to be the end of the questions, unless I can do a further search. Yeah, I think I've seen this article here before. A woman, Chicago's life insurance policy was canceled. Over $112 shortfall. Yeah, I think that this company, if I'm not mistaken, I forget the name of the company, maybe Transamerica, but they reinstated it for her just because of all the negative press. If I'm not mistaken, this was a Transamerica account. Let me double check that. Transamerica, yeah. So this was a Transamerica life insurance policy. So the policy had gone up, so it wasn't a whole life policy. It looked like it was probably a term policy that renewed after a certain period of time, and it went up by $56 a month. She didn't make payments twice. They have a 30-day grace period, and they canceled the policy. But there was so much negative backlash on this that they reinstated the policy. So that was good. And life insurance companies are definitely subject to public opinion. Like if they lose the public's trust, they are pretty much done. You know. What is this one? All right, so this person delivered a life insurance policy to one of her customers. That's nice of her, actually. If she lives in the same town. SC plus size model says life insurance companies rejected her for weighing 300 pounds. I'm gonna. All right, I'm just going to make a comment in there. Yeah, I'm not surprised that they would. It depends on her height, right? Like if she's 5'3" and 300 pounds, then yeah, they're probably not going to give her instant coverage. We can take a look at this. So if she were looking for $500,000 of coverage, let's say it doesn't really matter what state she's in, but if she is at 300 pounds, that is probably going to go towards the morbidly obese level. So if she's five, let's see if she was 5'8", I think that's still going to be at that category. If she's 5'11", I don't see a height where that would actually get approved. So weight is definitely a factor in life insurance. Most of them will give you, for a term policy, most of them will go up to, I think, 41% BMI. But after that, once you get to the morbidly obese status, then day one or term coverage is pretty much eliminated. And whole life policies would be the way to go. But a lot of times, day one coverage might not be available for that as well. But I can take a look just to make sure. Okay, so, oh, wait. Well, actually, let's take a look here. 5'11". See, 5'3", I believe, is what she's probably at. So, trying to see if there's a height weight combination in which she would get approved at 300 pounds. It looks like it's going to be fairly high. 5'8", maybe. No, 5'9". Nope. 5'10". And it's not going to be the best rate. So this is looks like John Hancock would be the only one that would really give her a shot. That's provided if she were 5'10" tall. And yeah, so height weight is something you definitely have to take into consideration. Smoking is also another big one. Now, for a whole life policy, we can take a look at that as well. If she's 5'10", 300 pounds, she's looking for. Yeah, there are some companies that would approve the whole life policy for sure. But as far as the high face amount at that height and weight, it would probably be declined every time. So let's see. I think I've covered this one before. Term life insurance policy is definitely better than the whole life as far as the $350,000 worth of coverage. Yeah, I do use Banner Term for mine. All right, this person wants to know some companies that aren't scams. Looks like he is fairly advanced in age, so it would probably be a smaller face amount for him, honestly. I can send him a message and let him know that I would be happy to help him, but he's probably already got tons of people in there. And I just don't like to be a part of that crowd. Yeah, let's see how many business cards we've got. We've got a few business cards. State Farm, Mass Mutual. So if he's like 80 plus, and which that's kind of what it looks like, that you'd have to kind of look at getting the amount of coverage that's needed to cover the burial or cremation. And as far as the $500,000, $50,000, $25,000 policies, those are probably going to be too expensive. They're not going to make sense as far as price at that age. So it would probably be a smaller policy to take care of the final expenses. All right, this person's paying $110 for $500,000 worth of coverage. She doesn't look like she's that old unless she's got a good filter. So I think that is probably a little on the high side unless she's got some medical conditions in the background that I'm just not aware of. And this person is, life insurance has been sitting, or I'll do that later. Yeah, a lot of people just, they don't do it. They don't think about their own death. And if you don't think about your death, like if you don't sit down with your partner or spouse and say, hey, what happens if one of us dies tomorrow? What does that look like from a financial standpoint? Like it's probably not going to happen, right? It's not going to no matter how many life insurance agents say you need, it's not about you, it's about them, or it's protect your family. No matter how many times you hear that, say that, until you actually think about dying and what the impact that's going to have on your family from the finance side, most people aren't going to do it. Now, the only other time would be if you have a friend or family member your age or younger that passes away and they've got kids and don't have life insurance, and you see the impact of that firsthand. That is when a lot of people actually, get off their behinds and take the 30 minutes to get a life insurance policy and pay that $50 a month. But I don't think life insurance agents online, posting business cards or putting up the same comments over and over is really going to inspire anybody to get life insurance. Like if they've seen the same thing 1,000 times and they see it the 1,001st time, it's not going to be any different, right? It's not about you, it's about them, or it's not about you, it's about your family. I mean, if you've heard that at one time, you've heard it 1,000 times, and a lot of times it falls on deaf ears until people think about death or they experience death and the ramifications of not having a life insurance policy firsthand. So that's my recommendation. If you have kids, you need to think about you dying, right? Not next year, next month, next week. Think about it tomorrow. What does that look like? And if you don't like what that looks like, then you need to spend the $50 a month and spend 15 minutes to get a life insurance policy at some place. That would be my recommendation. Let's see. Living benefits. That's a new selling point, right? It's a lot of times I like the accelerated death benefit. I do. The Banner term has that at no cost. So if you're diagnosed with a critical illness, you've got 12 to 24 months to live. They will advance 50 or 75% of the policy amount up to $500,000. And then if you die, they advance the rest of the money to your family. The critical illness and the chronic illness riders, I think they pay a certain amount of money to cover the cost of the policy while you've got these illnesses. That rider is usually very expensive. So, and a lot of people don't use it. Now, if you have to use it, it's good, but typically it just increases the cost of your policy. I think life insurance should be used for life insurance. Get the amount that's going to get a kind of policy that's going to cover what it needs to cover, and don't overpay would be my suggestion. Let's see, what do we have here? Okay, I don't see any other questions on here that I've not already answered. And I've only been here for 30 minutes. If anyone has any questions, you are more than fine to hop on and ask those. 178 and 117. Okay. Every family should have $1 million life insurance policy. Maybe. Now, are you talking about term? Are you talking about whole life, index universal life insurance? Are you talking about having it while you're paying off your house or mortgage your kids? That's just kind of up in the air. It's just like an open-ended statement almost. Yeah, I think you should have enough coverage to cover what needs to be covered for sure. Does every family need a $1 million life insurance policy? No, I don't think they do. Would it be nice if every family had $1 million life insurance policy? Sure. Depends on what it's for, right? I think the parents should definitely have a policy to cover the mortgage and cover income replacement. Most people assume life insurance is expensive. Probably. I think they do. I think they assume it's expensive because people always push the most expensive products on them because life insurance agents get paid on commission. So the more that they can, the higher the policy amount, the more money they make. Now, that's not always true. Like there are some good agents out there that will not try to inflate the cost of your life insurance policy. I'm not saying all of them are like that. There are definitely some good ones out there, but that is a risk you run into for sure. Let's see. And get life insurance on your children. Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah, 30. Yeah, this is a great post. She says she pays $30 a month for her and her girls. That is about right for someone her age. She's young. There's a rider that you can add on to your life insurance policy for like $5 a month that will cover all your kids. I think it's a $10,000 coverage amount as long as they're older than 6 months and younger than 16 when the policy is implemented. They can stay on there until they're 26 or until you turn 25. So that is actually good. That's probably about right too. She looks like she's young. It's going to be $5 for all the kids. And yeah, well done, Nicole. Well done. Okay. This one, hey, hit my girl up. Some inexpensive life insurance. 35-year plan. Okay, so it's a 35-year term policy. $250,000, and it is 56.88 per month. Now, I don't know exactly how old this client is, so I can't really say whether or not that is a good price or an okay price. It doesn't look like a completely unreasonable price by any means, but to say if it was a good price or not, I can't really say. Now, I can tell you for a 35-year-old, $250,000 is roughly $20 a month for a 35-year-old male. So if we went for, let's see, and if we do a 25-year term for a 35-year-old male, that is around $18 a month. So I'm not sure of the age that they're saying this is for. Maybe it's someone slightly older, and that's why it's $56 a month. But I would have to have more information to kind of gauge whether or not that's a good price. Yeah, no one wants to talk about life insurance, but it's the first thing that's looked for when someone passes away. That is absolutely true, Lindsay Beth. I think that is a good statement. That's not one I've heard before or very often. Still, it's going to fall on deaf ears until people actually consider their own mortality, which is something people just don't want to do, which I think is imperative, especially if you have kids. If you only think about your death at one point in your life, it's when you have kids. What happens? All the other times, it's yeah, this could be bad, but it's not going to be as bad as if you have kids and don't think about it. If you've got kids and don't think about your mortality, you're putting them at risk, and it all can be avoided for 15 to 20 minutes, filling out a life insurance application, and usually between 30 to 50, maybe 60 or $70 a month. Like it doesn't take much time, it doesn't take much money to make sure that if something happens to you, they are taken care of. So, all right. Unfortunately, I recently learned that life insurance policy my mom had terminated in February, and the 60-day grace period had always passed. There will be no life insurance to ease the financial burden left behind. Oh man, that sucks. That sucks, guys. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, the life insurance company usually give a 30-day grace period, and then they cancel it. Who has the best life insurance leads that have proof you're making money? This is an agent looking for leads. I don't know if there are any good leads out there. Most of the advertisements that I see online for life insurance, and that's where leads are generated, by the way. These are advertisements that people post online. They get people to fill them out, and then they're sold to agents or an agent or agents, typically agents, for like an insane markup. I haven't seen good advertisements, honestly. Like all the advertisements that I see for life insurance are completely misleading. So people, like half the people that fill this out don't even know they're applying or asking about life insurance. And I think that's where most of those the leads are being sold to the agent. So the data brokers don't care because they're getting paid, and they can always make up excuses to the agents. And one downside for the agents is that if they know how they're generating these things, if they know that they're actively lying to people to get their information, it's the agents who know that and they still work with these people. Like if they're lying to your potential client, you don't think they will also lie to you. You think you're on the same team. I guarantee you are not. These people do no one any good. These data brokers don't do anyone any good. They'll lie to the agents, lie to the clients, and make it a lot more complicated for people to get life insurance, and a lot more complicated for people who actually want to help people to help them. So that's why I tell everybody, if you're online looking for life insurance, don't fill out any of those free online quotes. Go directly to a carrier website, find a broker that you can trust, and work with them instead. Because the only thing those guys do when you fill out all that information, get your phone number, they sell it. That's what they do. All right. All right, just going through some more stuff. What do we have here? Oh my God. What is this? Who's selling this stuff? Oh, female, age 35, Louisiana. $100,000 is $168 a month. What? Who does this, man? Who is selling this crap? Oh my God. Ooh. Mm-mm-mm. All right, let's take a look at this, guys. I've got it. I know one's on here, but I'm taking a look at this. This is a $100,000 whole life policy for a 35-year-old healthy woman, I'm assuming. Oh, this hurts me. This hurts me, guys. Oh, if you're 35 years old, what the hell are they doing here, man? And it's probably not the agent's fault. She's probably doing what she was trained to do. Oh my God. Oh, Jesus. Jesus help me. This is not. All right, so we got a healthy 35-year-old female. I think she was in Louisiana. And the cheapest price that they were trying to get her was $168 a month. Insane. Insane, by the way. All right, so 100,000. We're going to do a $100,000 term policy, and we're going to do it. What was the? All right, so 20 years. 20 years. We're looking at $245 a month, or $245 a month for 20 years. Okay, so we are going to do the same. We're going to look for $100,000 of coverage for 20 years, right? We're going to look for a $100,000 term policy that will provide the same coverage for 20 years. All right, we're going to take a look at this, right? Okay, how much is it? $8.66. Okay, now, what are they doing? What are they doing here? $168.50. Now, if you want to pay it off in 20 years, you want it fully vested in 20 years, it's $245 a month. All right. Now I am very. Oh God, I hate this stuff so much. Oh. Now, would I rather get a commission check on $240 or on $8? $240, obviously. But I like to sleep at night, so I am going to show you exactly why this is completely and total horseshit. All right. So first of all, $8.66 for a term policy for $100,000. We're doing 20 years, right? And according to this, their policy to be fully vested is $245 a month. $245.50 a month for 20 years. All right, so that's what's fully vested. So once they pay for 20 years, it's fully invested. They don't have to make any more payments, and they'll have $100,000 in there. They don't have to make any more payments. So we've got $8.66. We got $8. That's how much a term policy is going to cost for the same amount, which is exactly $236 cheaper than that $100,000 whole life insurance policy. You guys follow me on that? Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to look at an investment calculator. And I'm going to run the numbers for the same thing for 20 years, right? This is an investment calculator. So what we're going to do, we're going to use the low end of the returns too. So 245, this is the amount we save, 245.50 a month for a year, which will be around $2,946 a year. And we're going to assume that they get the term policy and they invest the difference. Okay, starting amount. Okay, so after 20 years, we're going to do a low rate of return. Usually the market's going to give a much higher rate of return than this. We're going to look at this. How much will they have at the end of the 20 years? They would have over $109,000 in their investment account, and they will have had a term coverage for the entire time. So, and that money would continue to grow. Now, if they actually got like a better rate of return, what is the average market return year over year? And I know it varies from year to year, but we're going to take a look. What is the average rate of return stock market? All right, so past 10 years, past 20 years, so 9 to 12%. Let's go with a 9%. We'll go to the low end of the return. If we did the low end of the return, the same amount of time, the same payments, they would have $150,000 in their investment account, and they would have had $100,000 worth of coverage for 20 years. So I am not confident in people selling young people this whole life stuff unless these people are just really bad at saving their money or investing their money. Now, maybe they are, I don't know. But my recommendation would be to get the policy for, what was it, $8.66, and take the money you're saving and invest that yourself. That would be my recommendation. I just think it's insane for someone 35 years old to get a $100,000 whole life insurance policy. That's just me, right? Now, $100,000 is still a decent amount of money. Don't get me wrong, but if you've got a mortgage, if you've got kids, and let's be honest here, if you got those things in place, how long is $100,000 actually going to last you? It's like a couple years, few years maybe. It's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. I can go ahead and tell you that. So like for a younger person like that, 35 years old, you know, I think it's going to be more like $500,000 is a good start, maybe $250,000. That's $30 a month. That is, what is that? $200 less expensive for 5 times the coverage amount for 30 years. And the amount that you save, you could also invest that. You can invest that into one of these accounts and have more than you would have in that whole life policy after the 30 years. Okay, let's do that. Let's say you're doing it for 30 years. You are going to get a term policy and you are going to invest the difference for 30 years. How much would you have at the end of 30 years? $400,000, as opposed to paying on the $100,000 policy. It just doesn't make financial sense. And this person's probably a good person. They're probably great. They were trained to do this. The commission on this is insane. So you're looking at $245 a month. You know, that is a nice commission check. That is like dinner out with a family at a nice steakhouse with maybe a couple bottles of wine. Now, if they got them this, they could do that. If I got you this policy, I might be able to go out to Outback with a coupon So that there is a difference there, right? So just keep that in mind. If you're younger, really consider that whole life policy. I mean, it like once you get 6, if you got it when you're 35 and you're 60 years old, it's nice, but it's just not as much as you would have had if you would have invested that yourself. And I'm just being honest with you on that. But if you still want a $100,000 whole life policy for $245 a month, I don't have the heart to write it. I mean, if you twisted my arm a lot, maybe, but I just think that this is the $28 policy would be better than the $245 policy. That's just me. But anyway, I will leave this person alone and go to the next question. Whoa. All right. Okay. No comment. Sure, she is a fantastic agent. The biggest misconceptions. No one cares about the misconceptions, right? No one is listening to that. That's why they get out of bed every morning. Yeah, that is a beautiful family. What do you got? 1, 2, 3, 4 kids? Well done, guys. Well done. Life insurance is an umbrella. That's symbolizing protection from the elements. Rainy days, kind of. All right. What do I like to? Okay, so this is you got life insurance for a kid. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is a copy or paste thing, but I see the same statements from all the agents, right? It's like every agent posts the same thing. All right, Dave Ramsey. Yeah, Dave Ramsey's a big term guy. I would agree with him on that. Special monthly initial premium. What is this? What are you doing here? Okay. Huh. All right. So they're saying this is a real quote, $24 a month for a 30-year-old non-smoking male. Ooh, is that a good price? Pretty sure I could beat it. Pretty sure I could beat that. 250,000 for a 30-year-old male non-smoking. Let's take a look. Can Banner Term beat that? I'm almost positive that they can. I mean, that's still a good price. I mean, 24 a month is not bad for $250,000. I'm not going to say that that's a horrible. It's $24 a month, guys. It's not bad. But we are going to do that 30-year-old male does not smoke. He is a male. I think that was in Alabama. Excellent health. We're doing $250,000. And what was the coverage term on that? 200,000, 24 a month. She doesn't give me the term amounts. Just see. So I don't know if it's a 10, 20, 30 year term. I am positive that it's not a whole life policy. I know that. Just based on the price. So I will say it's maybe a 20-year term. Maybe. Okay, maybe it's a 30-year term. I don't know. Yeah, okay. It's probably a 30-year term. And you can see right here, $250,000 for a 30-year-old non-smoking male, $18 a month. If you're 30 years old, you got kids, $18 a month to make sure that, they get $250,000 if something happens to you. It's probably not going to be enough. That depends on the situation, obviously, but that is $250,000 more than what they would have if you didn't have anything. And $18 a month, guys. Let's go. Let's jack it up to 500,000. How much is 500,000 for 30 years? $30 a month. Yeah. GoFundMe's should not be required if you can qualify for a policy like this. I just don't think that. I think we should get to the point where we no longer need them. All right. But I've been going for about an hour here. No one is on. If you have dependents, you need life insurance. No shit, dude. Yes, of course you do. All right, the premium for, okay. All right, Greg, it looks like you're working with a good company, man. $500,000 is about $25 to $30 a month for a level 20-year term. Okay, let's see. Yeah, okay. Yeah, not bad, man. Let's take a look. I think he might be working with a really good company. I'm not going to be upset. 35-year-old male, 20-year term. Let's take a look and see if, I'm pretty sure he's accurate. That's impressive. I don't see that very often, guys. I don't see where an agent posts stuff like that and it's really on the money. I really don't see that very often. All right, so we're going to take a look. But yeah, I think Greg is actually on the money with that post. I like that. $500,000, 20-year term. He said it was between $25 to $30 a month. I think that is fairly accurate. It might be right on the money. Oh, yep, $19 a month. So it's not too far off. That's an excellent health condition. Maybe if it wasn't in perfect condition, a few things wrong, it would be between the $25 to $30 a month. Yeah. So let's go to this one. Yeah, yeah. So Greg is pretty spot on. Well done, sir. Well done indeed, Jeff. What do we have here? Becoming a mom completely changed how I thought about life insurance. Good for you. Good for you. It should change how you think about life insurance. Should be what you think about getting as soon as you have a kid. But if there are any 30-year-olds that need $100,000 of whole life insurance, let me know. Oh, these poor people. Poor people. Anyone have recommendations for life insurance agents or companies, preferably that you've used that are good with whole life policies, looking for insurance? Let's see, Barbara, looks like you are, how old is Miss Barbara? Voice Man? Hey, that is a great song. One of my favorites from my childhood. Hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Hey. Yeah. Why did my Uncle Charles have to die? Love that stuff. Any recommendations for life insurance agents or companies? Yeah, I mean, if you're fairly healthy and you're a senior, I would go with Mutual Omaha. But if you have multiple health conditions, obviously I'd have to find out. Maya Brown is in Charlotte, North Carolina. She is officially licensed. Well done, Maya. Well, what did she do? Real estate or she do life insurance? I'm not sure what she does here. Could be. Huh. Yeah, I'm not sure what she's doing, but she is a life insurance agent. If anyone is interested in getting life insurance, you are in the state of North Carolina. Who is this? She is phenomenal. I have not seen an agent like that before. Oh, okay, okay, okay. She is the co-host of the Ramsey Show. I was like, all right, I was like, this lady is phenomenal. I thought she was a life insurance agent. I was like, oh wow, there's another one out there like this. Okay, cool. She's the co-host of the Ramsey Report, so that makes sense. Yeah, she is 1,000,000% correct on this. Like 1,000,000% correct. Jade, I'm going to follow her because that is. I was worried there. I was like, there's another agent out there. At least one more. I know there's more than that, but I was like, wow, really good. Okay. All right, let's go again here. I'm not sure what she learned since becoming. 5 things I've learned about life insurance that almost feel illegal since becoming a broker. What are they? I don't know what they are. She doesn't tell us, guys. She's keeping her secrets, and I will let her. Oh yeah, I think she's looking for engagement, possibly. I don't know. Oh, this is a good case too. This is where I forget the name of the company is one that I hadn't heard of before. I think it was like Sun Life, maybe. I think it was like a life insurance that their employer had. I'm assuming that it was a whole life insurance policy. The husband died when he was making a U-turn, or that's what they say. But according to witnesses, he wasn't making a U-turn, and the insurance company was so petty. They said that it was a criminal act, and they denied the claim. It was like $300,000. They denied the claim for a year, and it cost the family $100,000 to in legal fees to get the 300,000. So at the end of the day, they only got 200,000 of the $300,000 that they should have gotten. And I think that really, really, really had a hard impact on Sun Life. I think that's the name of the company, if I'm not mistaken. But that is, yeah, that I and they're Sun Life. I mean, if they are in a specific area, I'm not familiar with them. There's 737. I'm not familiar with all of them. Um, like I'm sure that a lot of people are really evaluating their life insurance coverage with them since they were petty like that. Like the court of public opinion is very important for life insurance companies. Oh, what is this? Oh, it's a high of 85 tomorrow. That is incredible. That is a nice change of situations here, guys. What else do we have here? At 21 years old, you really think about life? Oh, yeah. I think life insurance. Like she's this person saying that life insurance should be discussed when kids are young. I agree. I do. I think that it should be. You should have it whenever it's needed, like whenever you get married, whenever you buy a house, whenever you have kids, especially when you have kids, and that should be something that's always in place. I think um, people that um, lost parents, either way, they typically have life insurance. So if you were young and you lost a parent and they didn't have life insurance, you more than likely you've got life insurance if you got kids. And people who had they lost parents and the parents had life insurance, then they definitely got life insurance because they can see they saw the impact of having that firsthand. Let's see, living benefits. All about anything to make the policy more expensive, guys. Anything to make the policy more expensive. Uh, oh no. Mm, 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 mm. Oh, killing me with these people. Killing me, guys. 28-year-old can secure a 550,000 IUL coverage for $159 a month to ensure that her family is protected if anything happens. I don't know how it's structured. I don't know like how long they're going to be paying into this. I'm assuming for a very long time at that price, right? So probably all the way up until 65 or 60. It's not going to be like a short period of time for $550,000 worth of coverage. Uh, Jesus. All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look here. We're going to do a 28-year-old female. We're going to do $550,000 worth of coverage for a 28-year-old female. We're going to see how much that's going to cost. We're going to take the difference between that and the IUL, and we are going to see how much is going to be left at the end of that. At the end of that term. So it's female, years old, state. We're going to say South Carolina. Let's see what the difference is going to be. So, oh, they do not smoke. That's right. You got to be in excellent health. We're going to say $550,000. And we are going to go all the way up to, she's 28. We're going to do 35 years, and that's probably where the IUL caps out at, I'm guessing. It's not going to be you're paying in for like 5 years and have that money. It's going to be a longer period of time. So for 35 years, all the way till she's 63 years old, it is $30.30. Okay, we got that amount right there. They're saying 159, so that's $129 a month. Let's see, $129 a month. Month. Okay, starting with that. We were doing it for, how long were we doing this for? We were doing it for 35 years. This is a 35-year investment plan at $129 a month. So this is going to be the difference, right? Come on now. Okay, wait, beginning. Come on. So it looks like $350,000. So I think it's going to be longer than that. I don't think she's just going to be paying on it for 35 years. Because typically, like private investments will beat that every single time. I would really need to see the illustration for this to see exactly how it's structured. I'm not sure if they're going to be paying on this forever, or if they're going to be paying it till they're 60. I'm not sure if this is going to require additional contributions. I really need to see how it's going to be structured, right? Because that seems like, I mean, it would have to be structured for a longer period of time at that rate. So what else do we have? Who knows about life? Kemper. I don't see anything else happening here, guys. No one's really joining the chat, so I am continuing to go through here. I'm just answering questions, hanging out with myself, which I'm not opposed to by any means, but life insurance is one of the smartest decisions you can make. It means you're always prepared for whatever comes. Preaching to the choir, guy. No one's going to see this and be like, oh, yeah, I should get it. This is someone who sells whole life insurance. Um, you make significantly more money by selling whole life insurance because it's much more expensive. Uh, yeah, yeah. There's taxes associated with investments for sure, and whole life, like the death benefit, is in fact tax free. So she makes a point with that. However, the investment that you would get from doing it yourself is going to be greater than the amount that you pay into a whole life policy, enough where it would offset the taxes in most cases. Here, the whole life policies, they accumulate nothing in the first 3 years. The first 3 years, it's all about paying the life insurance agent, which is going to be a nice check for sure, and the life insurance companies for the fees and everything else. After the third year, it does start building a cash value, but at a slower rate. This is excluding the index universal life insurance policies. So it does build a cash value at a slower rate, but it is wildly more expensive than the term policy. So you're building cash value at a slower rate. The term policy, you have this and you can invest the money yourself. So you have to imagine like you're paying $200 a month for 3 years. All of that money is just a sunk cost, right? You're not going to see any returns on that until you hit year 3, year 4, year 5, as opposed to if you took that first 3 years of payments, invested it into the market, you would have a much larger amount than you would with the whole life policy. That's my take on it. She seems pretty faithful in her position. I would adamantly disagree, and I would save you hundreds of dollars probably a month with my viewpoint. So life insurance, it's better be 5 years early. Yeah, better to be 5 years early than 5 minutes too late for sure. I agree. Definitely agree. I like this. She's got her phone number on there. What is she saying? I like to get a feel for other life insurance agents. I was really disappointed by that one lady that's a co-host of the Dave Ramsey show. I was like, wow, I've got to talk with her. I don't know if she has any audio, guys. Wait, I think she recorded it without audio. I'm not positive about that, but I do in fact have audio on my system, and I'm just not hearing her say anything. Uh, oh, hold on now. See, the audio does in fact work. Let's see what we got here. All right, so she's 60. All right, so this is an advertisement for. It looks like this actually might be an advertisement from an agent, which is unusual. Let's see, mom and dad have the conversation. So she's saying she's 62 years old. She should get $1 million life insurance policy. At that age, it's only going to be a term unless she is going to pay a massive, massive premium. So she's 62, 64, 1964. She's 64. I'm assuming that she is and doesn't smoke. She's female. Let's see. We're gonna go with $1 million worth of coverage. And she said she'd be lucky to live 20 years. All right, so let's take a look. What do you guys think that's going to be? That is going to be not cheap. I know it's not going to be cheap. She's going to go all from age 62 to 82 with a 20-year term policy. Because if she's talking like a whole life or an index universal, the payment's going to be astronomical. So this is just a 20-year term policy. But this is provided she's in excellent health. That's $340 a month. for 20 years. And once if she's age 60 and she's getting the coverage to go to 82, then there would probably be some type of medical exam requested. You probably have to go into Quest Diagnostics to get the blood pressure, get the blood drawn, do the height and weight check. So I don't think it's feasible for every 62-year-old to get $1 million life insurance policy. It's absolutely not. A lot of times, once you're over 50 and early 60s, you start getting diagnosed with stuff, and that can exclude you. There's some 62-year-olds could definitely get $1 million worth of coverage for term policy, but it would be very pricey. So I think if they went for a $500,000 policy, that might be a little bit better. It would be $180 a month. That seems to be more reasonable as far as coverage. It would probably require a underwriting and some type of medical exam to transpire. But yeah, advertising like this is just a little bit misleading. Like yeah, this is probably gonna be an advertisement for Ethos the way he's setting it up. If I had to guess. All right. All right, all right, all right. I agree with her, 1,000%, 1,000%. She didn't say it quite as eloquently as that last lady said it, but hit the nail on the freaking head. Yes, like um, it is something you should have. Like I completely agree with this woman. Yeah, I think that this message might actually get through to a few people. I think you have to be brutally honest if you want to get through to them. And I don't think she was off base. She might have been a little rude with her delivery, but maybe that's what's needed. I don't know. But uh, my only addition to that would be like it's more important if you have young kids to have a policy than any other situation. But yes, for the most part I agree with her. I think well done. I am actually going to I'm going to follow her because yeah, I I really like that. And you see she's got no comments. She's got tons of likes though. Where is her? What is she? She is the Laundry Family 504. Okay. Good job. Good job. I've got to save this. This is save video. I'm saving that. That was incredible. Thank you. And was it the same cookie cutter formula that you see all the time? It was not. No, no. Will it get across to some people? Don't know, but she came at it hard, so I give her props for that. Nasty work. It is nasty work. Oh my god, I love this woman. I'm not sure what she's talking about. Yeah, yeah, right, right, right. I agree that yeah, you should have it if people are going to be financially impacted by your passing. But if you kids are the most important, right? Like I'm not saying that you shouldn't get it because you don't have kids, but I'm saying that kids are the most important. So if there's any time freaking get this stuff, it's got to be when you have kids. Like if there's two consenting adults that are in a relationship, they're married, whatever, they understand the risk. I don't agree with them not having it, but I hey, they're adults, but if there are kids involved, they do not have the option to go and get a policy taken out on you. Like if they're 5, 6, 7 years old, they don't understand what this stuff means. So that's where you have to actually get it a policy covered. I've got to send this lady a message. She absolutely made my day. The Laundry Family 504. Let's see. I think it was shared by another group, Empower You NOLA. But I've got to send her a message. I'm going to write her contact information down here. That's the best message I heard all day. All right, guys. Well, it's been like an hour and a half. No one's really joining. I'm going to keep it open here a little bit longer. Maybe I'll just play this on repeat. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I just think that that is the best life insurance advertisement that I have ever personally seen. That is an absolutely incredible. If I had to rank that one, I would say that is the tippity top of a life insurance advertisement. That is the best. That gets all the points across. And I'm not saying like it has to be $15 to $20 a week. More than likely, it would be less than that. It would be less than $15 to $20 a week. You're talking about uh, maybe $10 to $15 a week that you would have to put aside to make sure that that stuff is covered, not 15 to 20 a week. So, yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and send her a message and compliment her on her fantastic, uh, fantastic ad. Let me see if I can find her. That's mom, wife, boss. Mom, oh, let's see, mom, wife, boss. I mean, you have to give credit where credit is due. You really do, right? I am going to think that is her. Let me see, who am I logged in as here? I'm going to want to make sure I'm using an account. Mom, wife, boss. I'm going to send a message. Hey, I All right. And I'm just going to say, fellow life insurance agent, I'm a fellow life insurance agent, just sending you this message to give you all the props for that advertisement I saw. Well done, and keep crushing. All right. So I'm sorry. Sometimes you see something so good that you have to acknowledge the person for doing it, and that is it. That is the creme de la creme as far as advertisements, as far as what I've seen. It hits all the points, and I agree. Yes, well, it is 12:25. No one's phone up. I have gone over a lot of questions. I probably ranted on about that nasty work. So I'm off here in a bit, maybe watching a movie or something. All right. That's what matters. No one's gonna like see that. I don't know what that's about. That's true. That is true there. You can't really control. Oh yeah. Okay. Sure. We already determined that she is a whole life insurance agent, and she's pretty passionate about her position. I would prefer to save people a bunch of money and let them do with the money what they want to do with it, as opposed to having them put it all in an investment account that doesn't do anything for 3 years. That's just my perspective. But to each his own, I suppose. Okay, who has the best life insurance policies? That's probably Banner Term, Pacific, Prudential, several good life insurance companies out there for sure. Depends on your age and what you're looking to cover. All right, so that is it. I've reached the end of the internet, ladies and gentlemen, or I guess no one really. Zero people, zero likes. That's okay. I'm here for my own company, I suppose. But I have answered a lot of questions. Hopefully, if you do have questions, you can do a search. I think there's an AI search available where you can go to a timestamp. So if you had a question, more than likely it was answered throughout the course of this. And once again, if you have kids, think about your death. Think about it. Think about it. What happens if you die tomorrow? What happens to the kids? What happens to your spouse? What happens to the mortgage? The all of the stuff, like all of the stuff. Think about what happens. And once you do that, and if you find that you do need life insurance, take the 15 to 20 minutes to go out and get a policy, spend the 40, 50, maybe 60 or $70 a month for a coverage, depending on how much you want and your age and health conditions, obviously. But make sure you get something in place for your kids just in case something happens to you. I can't want it for your kids more than you do. That's not how this works. I think about your death. You don't. So I would encourage you to think about what happens to the kids and the family if you were to pass away, and make sure that they are protected in that situation. So until next time, I hope everybody stays healthy, positive, and has a great, great weekend. All right. I might come back on doing something else. I'm not sure. But if not, I will talk to you next time.